wife Hannah actually earlier today out on the concourse, so she is here watching.
So there are the lane assignments. Evan Carell won the NCAA 100-meter wheelchair race here at Hayward Field once again in 2025. That has been part of the program for the last several years. Another effort to incorporate para-athletes and adaptive sports into the NCAA program at major championships, not just track and field, but other sports as well.
Evan Carell also in that final pack in the 5,000 yesterday, which was great to see from him. He's got a lot of speed, a lot of power, hasn't always had the strongest performances over the long distance events. So he's going to be one to watch in this 800. Everyone is going to be keying off of Daniel Romanchuk, but who knows what's going to happen at the finish.
And there is a look at Daniel. Again, major fixture on the roads at many of the major marathons.
This T54 classification is the highest classification for wheelchair racers. So anyone competing in the 50s competes seated. Athletes in the 54 classification have an impairment that affects only their lower body. So you can see Miguel Jimenez-Vergara sitting up straight, full trunk control, really, really good core strength for the athletes in this 54 classification. And this includes athletes who have things like lower limb amputations as well, who choose to race in a wheelchair as opposed to running.
So final introductions here for the full field being done in stadium. Jimenez-Vergara, again, after a very good performance, competitive performance in that 5,000, sizing it up again as he will be on the outside in 5 with Romanchuk in 4. And we're set to race. And already with that wingspan and that push off the start line, Daniel Romanchuk doing Daniel Romanchuk things and getting himself out and away and up to speed. And the chase behind him is already 10 meters behind.
This is what Daniel Romanchuk does, is what he is so good at. Look at the lift he is getting off of his rings here. His arms are so long and he gets such good wheel coverage. So wheelchair racers push with their hands closed in a fist with hard plastic gloves, and they rely on the rubber coating on the gloves and the rubber coating on the rings to push forward. Daniel's got long arms, he's got bigger rings, he gets more wheel coverage than anyone else does.
Yeah, keep an eye on those rings around the wheel. That's where the inner side that he's using to push, as his are going to be much wider, pretty demonstratively so on some of the other athletes you'll see racing on this track today, and already flying around this track in the early going, covered the first 400 meters in 46:58.
We talked about what makes Susanna so good, and it's how consistent she is, it's how efficient she is. We're seeing the same thing from Daniel Romanchuk here. He's staying really, really low. He's got great control of his chair, great control of his body. He's not wasting any movements moving up and down. He is looking behind his shoulder to see where everyone else is, which, you know, usually not recommended.
Well, and I don't know if he needs to do that, because I don't think he'd hear anybody, and he's got nobody in tow. 50 meters on the rest of the field. One of the best to ever do it, and still in the prime of his career, Daniel Romanchuk, 1:33.18 unofficially, as he will take this 800 meters, a second consecutive national championship win for him, and for the second time, Miguel Jimenez-Vergara finishing in second, and Carell there right behind Jimenez-Vergara in third, 1:38.24. But Daniel Romanchuk still looking behind him. There's no one there. Just focus on what's ahead of you.
Evan Carell looking to make that move up the finishing straight, trying to come out around Miguel Jimenez-Vergara. I talked to Brian Seaman and Aaron Pike from the University of Illinois team earlier. They said Miguel has some serious sprint speed right now. Miguel Jimenez-Vergara there with the 5 on his helmet, with the second place, his second of the national championship so far, and then Evan Carell inside.
There you see the full final results with Romanchuk taking the victory. A good view here now of seeing that difference in rim with some of the other athletes, and just the ability to really leverage that wingspan that you mentioned, 7 feet. And it is, you know, since we first started seeing him burst on the scene as a teenager on those major road races, and, you know, not just advantaged obviously in the sprints, but also into the climbs as well.
Most athletes push on a ring somewhere between 14 and 16 inches. I push on a 14.